All right, I'm giving everybody just a few seconds to get in here. This is Starship Adventures, and the show starts momentarily. Hello, Junior. First in tonight. Wow. You got it going. All right. Okay, getting everything set up here as folks are filing in. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here on Starship Adventures. And we do have the grid for tonight. Probably not as cool as you would think. I've been trying to find live views. And right now I found, all I'm finding is the earlier shots from DC. And also the earlier shots from North Austin, Texas, where we had an incident there, and we'll be talking about that here in just a little while. And of course, a live look at Times Square, and we've got another walking tour going on of Walt Disney World. And I have such a love-hate with Disney, so let's just leave it there. I do like when they do these walkthroughs because it gives you something to watch, and it shows you, the park. I grew up in Disney. I was there almost daily, or not daily. I'm sorry. I was there almost yearly. We would go about once a year for a day or 2 days, and every couple of years we would go stay a couple nights in the campground there, which is called Fort Wilderness, and it was just a lot of very fond childhood memories from back then. And although I'm not much on a lot of what they've done lately, I think they've really taken something that was really amazing and just kind of made it more about politics and money than about entertaining and getting people to want to come back. And I think that's so important. Hey, Galactic, how's it going? All right, I'm going to, Galactic, I'm adding you as a moderator tonight. Do me a favor. I only want moderation when it's like spam or they're being really nasty and derogatory towards the show or anything. The political stuff I don't care about. I don't care, where they're from or what they're doing. Just anytime they start spamming over and over, or anything nasty like that, yeah, just go ahead and time them out, whatever. I trust you guys. I just, every night I try to find, I'm trying to find people that have been here for a little while and go ahead and make that happen. All right, so there we go. Yep, all right, well, I appreciate that. We'll have a few more in the next few nights as well. I've got a few others that I've been considering doing this with as well. Let's see here. I'm looking at Radar Omega. We are looking at what's going on in the southeast right now. Really not a lot. We've got an area that kind of looks like a phallic symbol here that goes over Tulsa, Oklahoma City. That area there is slightly heightened, and then also an area way up here that is slightly heightened, but nothing tonight that's really that big a deal. The big story that we're talking about, of course, is the hurricane, and this is Tropical Storm Erin, now forecast to become a major hurricane. However, the modeling is looking pretty good that it's going to stay off the coast, and this is hopefully not going to be a direct hit into the United States. There's probably, at this point, I'm giving it about an 80% chance of being able to make the turn. So we'll have to hope for that. Currently, as of advisory number 2, the 5 p.m. advisory, remember they only issue advisories every 6 hours unless it gets closer to land, and then they'll issue them every 3 hours, And in the case of major hurricanes like Ian, when it was coming on shore, we were actually getting National Hurricane Center updates on the hour. It was amazing. Our local emergency management here dropped the ball on the evacuation orders. We did not get them until it was way too late for people to get out. And in fact, we had a family that did evacuate when the order was given, and their vehicle was swamped and they all died. It was 4 of them. So there's a lot of it. Our county, for some reason, they've always been very quick to issue the evacuation orders, and for Ian they didn't, and it was pretty bad. We do have this one out in the Atlantic currently, Henriette, and this one is harmlessly going to go out here and go extra tropical before it gets up to Alaska, and it obviously missed the Hawaiian Islands, so no real story there. And that's it. That brings us back to the mainland. We will be going through the tropics in depth here in about 20 or 30 minutes. I'm going to show you the latest model runs, and there's one model run that's forming another storm behind this, and we'll talk about that as well. We're seeing season really heat up right now, and I think that's just because everything's starting to come together. The vertical shear is dying down, the sea surface temperatures are continuing to rise, and we're seeing the atmosphere become more conducive out there. Lots of juice, lots of energy, and I think we are going to see a lot more of genesis with these storms coming up. I again today was told by somebody, man, what a slow year it's been. Guys, we are right on schedule. We are right on schedule. We've got the E storm out there. Normally in August, we should be in the D and E storms by now. We are right exactly where we are supposed to be. And so I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. But the season's right where it's supposed to be. We are not ahead or behind. They have dialed down the forecast slightly. So still expecting a number of storms this year. All right, so what we have to watch for now is what we have to look for now is something that's going to get in that Goldilocks zone and come across. And it may not be the E storm, which is out there right now. It may be the one behind that, which will more than likely be the F storm. That, I think that's probably the one we need to watch, and I'll get to that in just a minute in the models. All right, so a quick news rundown of what's going on today. Let's see here. The Gifford Fire out in California, we've been covering this. I'm working on getting scanner feeds up for out there because I'd really like to be covering this, but we're having issues with our program that we're working on, but we're going to get it. But the Gifford Fire, it's now officially become California's largest blaze of 2025, now a megafire. This fire has now reached over 100,000 acres, and it is now classified as a mega fire. And I got to tell you something, when I look at this particular storm, this particular fire, now you guys remember I'm retired from the fire service, so the one thing I know more than almost anything else about is firefighting. And I want to show you on the map how big this damn fire has gotten. Here we go. Let's go to the left screen here, and let me get that lined up a little better. There we go. Okay, here we go. This is the SoCal website, and or Cal Fire. I think it's Cal Fire. I'm sorry, Cal Fire. And basically, I want you to look. Here's these other fires right here. See near Santa Clarita. That's the fire we had the other day. Where's my telestrator? Epic. Where's my epic pen? Where's my epic pen? All right, so basically, let me get this in just a little bit. Let me get my epic pen off to the side. There we go. I found this epic pin, and I'll pay for it if I have to. I really like it. They got me hooked. All right, so it's a really cool telestrator program. So I want you to notice that all these other fires, the size of the fire fits behind the flame icon. That's the difference in size. Look how big this one is. You can see the orange way outside from underneath the icon. All right, so let's zoom in and take a look at this particular fire. Now, there we go. That's the Gifford Fire. They're now reporting 120,000 acres. That has gone up just since I made my pre-show report over here that I'm using. And there you go. Let's get the very latest information from from Cal Fire. Still a unified command under the Los Padres National Forest, Santa Barbara County Fire, Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office, and Cal Fire, all running a unified command post. This is in both Santa Barbara County and San Luis Obispo County, and also Highway 166 northeast of Santa Barbara, or Santa Maria, northeast of Santa Maria. That is the location. Boy, these speakers have such a dirty pot. I can hear them. I can literally hear them cracking back here. I gotta fix that. I hate when speakers get dirty pots, because are they worth taking apart and fixing? All right, let's see. Acres burned, 120,000 acres burned. Percent contained, 33% contained. Okay, so there you go. That's what we got right now. That's this huge ass fire right now. And right as I was going to tell you, those are the evacuation zones that you can see on the map. They'll come back up in a few minutes. This all updates automatically, this map. And if anybody is interested in these maps, these are from Cal Fire. There's the link, and they are great. Yeah, it did sound like a blender, didn't it? Terrible. Just absolutely terrible. Okay, so that is the big fire. The other fire that we had talked about the other day, the one that we covered when it started, hasn't really gotten any bigger, and the evacuations really they've just about got this one. This one is 94% contained with 5,300 acres involved. So 94% contained, not too bad, but still they've got a little bit of work to do there, but. There's been very little change from yesterday to today. You can see yesterday's pattern underneath there, and there's really very little more that's come on today. And then these other fires, not near as big, and they're getting those all under control. It's just really, right now, it's this main fire right here, the Gifford Fire. And so we will be continuing to cover that through the evening. Now, the next thing I want to tell you, I went looking for protests tonight. The only protests I can find, I could not find any live views. If anybody finds any live views, throw them in Discord and let me know, and I will pull them right up, okay? But right now we are watching the Disney Parade of Lights going by from the Magic Kingdom in Orlando, Florida, and we are watching earlier views of where this incident happened, where there was pew pew and all that. And we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Times Square, where nothing's happened yet, but just give it time. And also earlier in D.C., we had a large rally. I want to say a large rally. It was a little bigger compared to some of the ones recently. This particular rally is protesting President Trump's use of federal resources to bring the crime in D.C. under control. I'm really not much on getting the federal government involved in civil unrest like we did in California, but it works. They brought in all those National Guard troops. They brought in all of those Marines, and all they did was bring them in. They didn't have to use them. They just brought them in, and that kept the anarchists home. And the same thing here in D.C. The crime is running rampant in D.C., and I love how people keep coming on now and saying, Oh, no, wait, the crime's down in D.C. It's down 22%. It's down 22% in 2 years. Yeah, that's because they're not prosecuting anything and they're not making any arrests. When the cops stop making arrests, the prosecutions go down. It's just simple math. And their arrests are way down. Well, the crime statistics are based on arrests. So if the cops are not making arrests because they're disgruntled over what's going on, because their prosecutors null processing all their cases, it's a big complicated mess out there. The cops aren't happy. Nobody's happy with what's going on. So now they're just going to send the federal government in to help them, basically provide them some resources, and they're mad about it. And I don't know why. I'm not happy that we have to do it, but let's get this crime wave under control. It's been going on for 3 or 4 years now in D.C. Let's go ahead and get it under control. I mean, why not, right? Regardless of how you feel about this politically, the crime rate in D.C. is actually worse than several third world countries. I mean, that's crazy. You know, when there's areas of Cambodia that is safer than Pennsylvania Avenue, you have to start wondering what's going on in the world. And so there needs to be something done. Do I like what's going on now? Not necessarily. I don't like it. I don't like using federal troops to do civil unrest and things like that. But I see the need to do something. And so it's unfortunately one of those situations. They're not doing what I would necessarily do, but they're doing something. Yeah, they had one guy that they had arrested 32 times in 3 days or something. There was another guy they had arrested 21 times in 2 days. What these guys do, they realize they just do the paperwork, they fingerprint them, they take their picture, and they let them go. And they go right out and start committing crimes again because they know what's going to happen to them. And so they go commit crime after crime after crime. And some of these people are just doing it over and over and over. And then the cops are not doing any self-initiated anything. They're only responding to calls. They're only doing what they have to do because they're not happy with the situation, because their prosecutors are not prosecuting anything when they send it up. And so it's a really complicated mess what's going on in D.C. right now. I do agree with these people's right to protest, and I hope it stays peaceful. So far, I believe it has, and I'm looking right now. I was just looking literally 10 minutes ago for any live feeds coming out of this protest, if it's still going on, and I couldn't find any. So if anybody finds anything, let me know. Junior, I agree. I mean, I don't want to do it. I don't like doing it, but normally the state government would come in and say, look, these local municipalities are not taking care of their cities and their counties, so we're going to step in and take care of it. But in D.C., the backup in D.C. is the federal government, because it is the seat of the federal government. It's a bit different. I mean, you know, D.C. is not a state. It's a very different way that things work there. And this was specifically built into the Constitution there, basically. Not the big Constitution, but the one there for D.C. It was built into it that in the event that things were to become out of control in any way, that the president does have the ability to do this for 30 days. And then after that, Congress will have to approve it. And here's the thing. Yeah, I don't like it, but what are you going to do? You know, I mean, I've had a lot of these discussions lately on here where, you know, we can like or dislike something all day long, but sometimes the facts are the facts. And we don't like the facts, and we don't like what the facts are going to make us do, but the facts are still the facts. And I think that's where we're at with this one. I don't like it. Understand, these people are not the guard that are the National Guardsmen that are being sent there, generally speaking, will not be taking primary roles in law enforcement. They are going to ride second seat with the guys to give them two-man cars. They're going to assist and back up. They're not going to be out patrolling themselves. They're going to be doing clerical stuff. They're going to be moving prisoners. They're going to be doing all the secondary, the B-roll stuff, basically, that cops have to do so that we can keep all the certified officers out on the street. When they say, oh, we don't need the National Guard marching down D.C. with guns, it's not going to be that way. Some may carry sidearms if they're going out, but it's not going to be what you think, okay? It's simply backup for the guys that are already there, and the cops that they already have are going to be making the arrests, making the decisions, responding to the calls, and the guard will back them up as backup in the car, backup with a second vehicle, backup at headquarters, backup at the jail where they're intaking and things like that. That's what it is all about. Yeah, actually, it's not just that it plays a role. Crime is actually worse in DC now than it was 2 years ago. It's worse than it was 1 year ago. That's why when the numbers say 22%, and one of the other ones I saw was, I think, 26%, when I see these numbers, I know they're not true. You have to understand that statistics don't lie, but liars make statistics. And they're coming out with these statistics and saying, yada, 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 but you have to remember that the prosecutors have stopped prosecuting, and that pissed the cops off, and the cops have stopped arresting. If the cops stop arresting, the numbers are going to go down. Does that mean crime went down? No, in fact, in this case, crime went up. But the numbers show that crime went down. You know, I'll tell you a quick little story. In this county, many years ago, the sheriff here went to the Board of County Commissioners and said, I, the sheriff of this county, I need more money. I need more money because I need more cars, and I need more deputies, and I need more radar guns, and I need you to just, I need more money. And they're like, no, your calls only went up by 3%, your budget's going up by 5%. I don't see a problem here. And they did this 2 years in a row to the guy. So you know what he did? I know, because I was a cop at the time. Starting that day, starting that evening, we had to start pulling a CR number every time we pulled over a car. Every time I had a contact with the public, I had to pull a CR number. And I had to call back and status that CR number out with an explanation of what happened. Why? Because the crime statistics were calculated off partially the CR numbers. And so since the county used the CR numbers, the call numbers, basically, the number of complaints, it was basically a criminal report, a CR number. What they did was they're like, well, look, the county keeps putting it back in our face that we're only 3% ahead of last year. We're only 3% ahead of last year. So what he did was he changed the way the numbers were counted. The following year, he saw a 22% rise in CR numbers. Walked in there and got every penny he asked for. There was no more crime. Things were fine. We didn't need all that money. He lied. He literally went in there and changed the way we calculated the numbers so that other things would now generate that crime number when they weren't generating it before. And so at the end of the year, there was, I don't know, 100,000 more of those numbers, and so he got his money. He got his budget. And that's the kind of ridiculous shit I'm talking about, is that statistics don't lie, but liars make statistics. And statistics are based on the bias that they're designed to look at. And that's a lot of times what you're looking at here. The crime in DC is worse now than it's probably ever been. Ever. I mean, it is bad there right now. And when they keep coming out and saying it's down 22% over 2 years, no, you're not prosecuting people. The crime's actually gotten worse. And they're using arrest statistics. They're basing everything on arrest statistics. Why? Because if you start bringing in other stats, it doesn't show the same thing. There is less arrests this year than last year. There's less arrests last year than the year before. But that doesn't mean that the crime is going down. We are misreading what is going on. And that's so important. Yeah, I don't know anything about that, Galactic. But it doesn't surprise me. These same trolls every night. It's like, give me a break. It's like I built the channel, you did nothing, and now you go around tearing other people down. Go away, dude. Seriously. Um, I do this because I love it, and you can come in here every night and call me names, say that I do horrible things. Nobody believes that shit. If I had a criminal record, I wouldn't be a retired fire chief with and currently being broadcasting on the air. So you just kind of keep that in mind. Yep. Yep. I feel good. I'm doing good tonight. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that my channel has finally reached the amazing benchmark of being trolled nightly. It truly is. It's kind of like a silver plaque. Before you get the silver plaque, you get assigned a few trolls. That's what happens. So that's kind of cool how that works. Um, that's, you know what? I don't care. I'm enjoying doing this. If it works out that this turns out to be really big, that's awesome. If it turns out that I just keep doing it like this, I'm probably fine with that too. So it is what it is. All right. Let's see. What do we got next? Thanks. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate it. Hey, Aquarius, what's up? Aquarius, you just missed our troll. He came back again tonight. Oh my God, a drug dealer. I love that. You know what's funny about that? Is if I was doing that, I wouldn't need to do this. Isn't that awesome? Um, no. Oh, I think he's talking to you, not me. Yeah, the only channel I'm directly affiliated with here is Starship After Dark. And I do work with a few other channels, but off and on. But, oh, I will never stop because of trolls. As a matter of fact, trolls egg me on. Trolls get me wanting to do it more. Because, we have hate listeners at work, too. And it always surprises me every night. See, here it's the trolls. We have trolls at work, too, on the text line. And they troll us constantly. And you know what they're always saying? I am never listening to this shit again. This is the worst show ever. You guys suck. Your host sucks. Your producer sucks. Your whole life sucks. Your mothers suck. And this is the kind of stuff we get. And you know what's funny? These people always tell us every night, I'm never listening to you again because you suck. The following night, they come on. I can't believe you're talking about this when there's real things going on. You suck. This show sucks. I'm never listening again. And then the very next night, they're back in there again. This show sucks. What? You know what? And I don't think they realize that our texting program keeps a history of everything they've texted in. And when they text, we hit the button, and I can see every text they've ever sent to our station back 5 years. And I can search through his text. I can do whatever. And so it's pretty neat to watch somebody that's texted us. And when I go back and do a search on how many times they wrote the word never, they wrote the word never 736 times. They're never listening to our show again. And the next night they're there. Why? Because just like love listeners, there's interest listeners and there's hate listeners. There's all kinds of different reasons why people would listen to a show or watch a show. And so I don't care. If I appeal to one or the other, at least I'm appealing to somebody. These people that troll, if they come back night after night trolling, then they've obviously found something here that they want to come back to. And you know what I think a lot of these people end up doing? They do eventually find channels they like, change their name, and come back and become a regular participant. Anyway, I think he's gone now anyway, so who cares? All right. Hey, Callie Pepper, what's up? Yep, and we got a bunch of folks in tonight. 11, Steve Mess, thank you for being here. Uh, yeah. No, I do. I like to. I like to just bring it up because I think it's great that. I think it's great that trolls actually help my algorithms and help me succeed. And they also endear me to my audience when they come in here and call me names. I know this sounds crazy. I want you remember I work in marketing, okay? When they come in here and call me names, that makes you guys mad at them, not me. You know what I'm saying? And it actually endears you to the host. So I don't really care. The trolling is fine with me. I think it's funny. All right, let's see. Let's go back. Let's do the tropics next. We do have some areas of interest in the tropics, but just barely. I want to tell you, one of the neat things that's going on right now is they've issued a 0% chance, which they don't normally do. I don't know. It's a very strange thing. Here's what the map looks like right now. There's Aaron. Out there between about 8 out there at 17 something north, and then there you go, you got 3 different X's out there. But here's the thing, none of these X's mean a damn thing, and I'm going to show you why. All right, first of all, we're going to talk about Aaron. We're going to talk about this one here in just a minute because it's going to come off this way, and then from here this one becomes a big question mark. Now this one here is going to go off this way. This one here will probably move off in this direction, and this one here is going to move north over land before it does anything. And that is why you can see here they literally have a 0% chance. I don't know why they put it on the map if it's a 0% chance. I've never seen that before. That's kind of a new thing for the NOAA. I don't get it. And here we got a couple of other disturbances here. Like I said, these two here, 10% chance. And here, this one's now down to a 0% chance. So, if it truly has no chance, what are we doing? All right. So there you go. That's that. And then let's go back to the grid. And I'll pull up my next graphic here. I just want to mention Mike's weather page. I always do. He has the best hurricane page. Has all the resources in one place. Hey, Rodney. How's it going? Yep. And you're correct, Comms Prepper. When trolls come in and troll, they do. They actually help the algorithms. This live does not have a lot of dislikes. I'm showing 1 dislike so far. Remember, I can see that stuff. You guys can't. So you can't see the dislikes. I can. So I don't know who you're bullshitting. You can give it a like if you'd like. Or you can troll. We like that too. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here at... let's go ahead and look at this. This is the current storm that we're looking at. This one here, there's a couple things I want to illustrate on here for you guys that's a little weird about this one. I want you to notice, first of all, that right there, that's a forecast for a major hurricane. So that's interesting in itself. We do have a storm that now is forecast to be a major hurricane, and it's going to be a major hurricane just as it's northeast of Puerto Rico. So a little scary for them, but this should pass off to their north. Most of the time, the forecast stays within these lines. And so even with Ian and Charlie and all these other storms that made that right turn, they were still within the National Hurricane Center's margin of error. Okay? So I think we're pretty good here as far as the north end of the islands, the island chain here, Puerto Rico, Haiti. Hopefully it's going to go north of that. But once it gets up to here now, we're expecting a fairly tight turn to take it like this. Okay? And that turn has to happen. If it doesn't, obviously there's going to be a problem. Houston, we will in fact have another problem. All right, let's let me get out of that and go and take a peek. Let's go back over here. This is the current thinking here. Let's go over to weather. This is from Tropical Tidbits, and there's your infrared satellite image of the storm. You can see it's starting to get very symmetrical. It's starting to deepen and starting to look a lot more tropical. Now let's take a look at this. Okay, this is the GEFS. This is the model runs. Now, they'll run this model over and over and over and over and over and over again. Now, we've got really good model consensus right here. All the models are within a couple hundred miles. But once you get out past this point, these models are very wide. How wide the cone is out there once you get out past 10 days. And the concern here is, like we always have, and this is nothing to be panicking about. I'm not just showing you why we have to worry a little bit about this storm. There is outliers down here. There's about 6 or 7 of them now that are coming up through the Caribbean and showing this as being a Gulf of Mexico or an East Coast Florida storm. And so we definitely want to watch that. This black line is the average of all the models, and I think it's going to do more like this. Is probably what about like it's going to go. But let's go look at the models, because the model runs are going to tell us a lot more. So let's go up here. When we're on Mike's page, we go up here to the upper left, GFS. Let's run the GFS and see what happens. You guys ready? Here we go. There's your storms. There's your 2 little yellow storms we were talking about up here. There's your little coloring down in the Gulf from where that mess is there. And here is your E storm sitting right here. And as we run this thing forward in time, August 14th, August 15th, there you go. It passes off just north of the island chain there. And this is 974 millibars. That's easily a Cat 2 hurricane. Coming up through their Cat 3 hurricane now. And it deepens down to what could be a major hurricane, Cat 3, potentially even a Cat 4 at 940 millibars. That's an intense storm right there. And it's huge. So this model is very confident that we are going to have a major hurricane sitting right there staring at the United States. And then it's going to take a sudden right turn and get caught up and swept out into the Atlantic. And that is likely what's going to happen at this point. All right, let's go back and let's do the Euro. The Euro 2 years ago was the best performer, but last year and so far this year, it has not been a good performer. Let's run it forward. Here we go. Staying fairly low in the intertropical. Coming across. There we go. Starting to move north now. And misses the island chain to the north. And then the model run ends there. But notice it ends, it's still a Cat 2. So this one's not near as aggressive on the strength as the first one was. And that, again, that's the Euro. One more model, the CMC. This one might make you a little more nervous. Let's see what happens. Now, here we go. There's our first storm. And it takes it right along there. Ooh, a close call. Close call with the islands. There we go. That's now a Cat, can be a Cat 1 hurricane, Cat 2 hurricane. And then it shows it coming right near Nassau. About 100 miles off the coast of Nassau, and then heading right towards South Carolina, and then a sudden right turn. At the very last moment, it's showing a right turn, and that's the end of the model run. That's a little crazy. Now I want to show you another model run that they ran earlier. Oh, maybe not. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Damn it. All right. Let me see if I can... This is the CMC again. I'm running it. I went back and ran the previous model. See the next storm behind it down there? That's a concern too. That's really low. That's going to come into the island chain. That's going to be below 15 or 20 north. That next storm is going to probably go into the Caribbean. And so that's the next big one we got to watch. So we're going to have one up the East Coast, hopefully a miss. And then after that, we're going to have another one that forms up coming off the African coast here in the next couple days. All right. Where are we at, guys? Let's see here. Yes, the name gets retired on these when it does a lot of damage. There's a certain dollar amount, and also if it creates deaths, if there's more than one or two deaths, they'll go ahead and retire the number also. All right, let me go up to change this. All right, so there's that. That's pretty much the tropics. If anybody has any questions or anything else you would like me to cover in the tropics, let me know. We could go ahead and do a real quick check on sea surface temperatures. You can see out there, they're pretty hot. We've got sea surface temperatures. Tampa Bay, right here, Tampa Bay 86. Look at that, right off of Sanibel. I'm right here. So right offshore where I'm at, the water is 88 degrees. It's like bath water. Matter of fact, we have the warmest water, some of the warmest water in the world right here next to us right now. Gotta love that. But yeah, it gets like that. Yeah, Aaron has been a name for a long time. And it gets reused every 6 years. The way they do it, every 6 years they recycle the names, and there's a list of names. It's on this website, but I don't know how to find it readily. So I'll just do a Google. Hold on, let me show you. Here we go. Okay, here we go. I mean, we might as well do it right. There you go, guys. This is your hurricane name chart. This is according to the National Hurricane Center, and these names are agreed upon within the international community. This is for the Atlantic, and just the Atlantic. You can see now Ian has been retired and has been replaced. This is obviously this year. We've got Aaron, we've got Fernand, Gabrielle, Humberto. See, I remember Humberto. Humberto came by here and caused a little bit of flooding, and we prepared for it, but nothing really happened. So I remember the name, and also Gabriella. I remember Tropical Storm Gabriella before the name. These names have been used because unless they were really bad, they won't be retired. But yeah, we've also got Imelda, Jerry, Karen. I can't believe you could actually be hit by Hurricane Karen this year. Isn't that awesome? Lorenzo, Melissa, Nestor, Olga, Pablo, Rebecca, spelled with a K, Sebastian, Tanya, Van, and Wendy. Sometimes when they spell them different like that, it's because they've already used that one in another ocean, and so they'll spell it differently so they can use it over here. They're actually running short on names, like the I name and stuff like that. No, there's no Steve because there's already been a Hurricane Steve, I'm sure. Anytime I'm going to leave this for about another 2 minutes here so you guys can read through the names. Oh, Steve is used in the Australian region of the Pacific. Typhoon Steve was in the Western Pacific. There's also a fictional Hurricane Steve that is sometimes discussed in hypothetical hurricane scenarios. Yeah, so that's why. Steve is not one on our list here. But yep, there you go. All right, everybody got a chance to see that, I hope. All right, and I'm going to check again for videos. Everybody's showing this is live, but there's no way it's live because it's dark there. They're all spoofing it. I'm sitting here. You can even see it on my little screen. You can see on the screen right here. Every one of these says it's live, and every one of these is just showing old footage of these protests. And they're the same one: Crux Media, Money Control, NDTV, Hook Global, Crux, Mint. These are all spoof channels that are being run from Mumbai or somewhere, and all they do, they've got a studio like mine with about 10 different computers, and they just sit around and they put up, they get an hour's worth of video that they steal from wherever, and they package it up. And the reason I say that is because this is technically not fair use. They're not changing the video, they're not enhancing the video, they're not providing commentary on the video. They're not analyzing it pre or post. There's about 12 different things that they're not doing that they could be doing to make it fair use. The thing is, if you just capture 1 hour of NBC's video and you play that hour over and over, you are not protected under fair use. Fair use, they're spoofs. They absolutely are spoofs. And you know, whatever. That's why what I'm doing, I'm very specific about what I'm doing is fair use. I don't ever just take someone's video and just rebroadcast it on my channel. I just do not do that. Wow. All right, yeah, I don't see anything. Let's take a look over here real quick. And okay, so let's go back and talk about what's left with the news out there. The Gifford Fire, we talked about that. Over 120,000 acres now, about 33% contained. Evacuations are going on all across San Luis Obispo County and Santa Barbara counties. Crews are preparing controlled burns to slow down the Gifford Fire. New evacuation orders as firefighting efforts are escalating in the area. Now, you got to remember, back burning is a wonderful tool. You got to be careful with it, but it's a wonderful tool. They use what's called a backfire pot, which is simply a pot that you put half gasoline, half diesel, or half gasoline, half kerosene in the pot. The end of it has a thing on the end that burns. It stays burning for a while. And you just walk along the road and you create what's called a backfire. And what happens is, as the fire is burning towards you, the wind is pushing the fire. And it's feeding the fire and pushing the fire and feeding the fire. And what you do is you get out ahead of the fire and you light a back burn and you only allow the fire to burn towards the other fire. You don't let it burn anywhere else. You got to make sure you do it up against a road or something so that it burns away from you, and that's it. And then that fire now starts to burn towards the huge fire that's coming towards you. By the time they meet, it goes out because your little fire has burned all the fuel off out ahead of it. And so by the time the big fire reaches your little fire, it's black lined. Everything's black. It's already burned. And that's how you get them out. And that's what they're doing right now, is they are setting fire lines and they're back burning. Like if you got fire coming up a mountain, you'll line a back burn across the top of the mountain and start the fire burning down that side of the mountain. It's going to burn slow. It's going to be a controlled process. But as it's burning down that mountain, it's taking all the fuel that the big fire is going to need when it gets there. And boom, it's defeated. It's amazing. Backfires work. Flash flooding's been reported all across the Midwest, with submerged vehicles in Milwaukee and at least one fatality now reported in eastern Nebraska. Severe storms forecast across the central and southern plains, featuring large hail and damaging winds moving east through the day. And we have been watching that, and as you can see there on the radar, not a whole lot going on right now. I've got it on national radar, and there's just not a lot going on. The only big cluster we have is right here, and that's going to be mostly in the Texas Panhandle, and going to be all around that area, including in Oklahoma. And so we're going to continue watching this area. I currently do not see any of our in-network storm chasers here, so that sucks. We do got some. We do have some live cams I can put up. Let me do that real quick here. There's Las Vegas. Las Vegas is under a flood watch. Oh my God. Las Vegas, part of Las Vegas is under a flood watch. Do you believe that? I didn't think it ever rained there. All right, and then let me look down here. We've got a couple of cams out here out ahead of this thing. All right, I'll just put those up so we got something to watch there. All right, and there we go with that. Let's get back over to this. All right, so what else has been happening today? A gunman kills 3 in Texas Target store in Austin. That's Austin, Texas. The victims in that have not been identified. I do believe the shooter is in custody on that one, last I heard. Severe weather alerts nationwide. We just talked, I don't know why that's in here twice. Ponderosa fire in Yuba County confirmed as accidental by CAL FIRE following evacuations earlier today. That's a different fire. That's not the ones we've been covering. That's the Ponderosa fire. And the Gold Fire near Big Bear, California, now spans about 1,700 acres. Containment sits at about 15% with evacuations at several campgrounds. Severe drought conditions fueling wildfires across all the western U.S. states and also western Canada, including also parts of Colorado. So lots of dry conditions out there right now. Yep, and we even had a few flash flood warnings down here because of some heavy rain we had down here over the last 24 to 48 hours. All right, let's next thing I want to talk about, there was this situation in Austin, so let's just talk briefly about that. This occurred this afternoon in a parking lot of the Target At 8601 Research Boulevard in North Austin, Texas. The 911 calls came in at approximately 2:15 p.m. Police arrived 4 minutes later. 3 people were killed, 2 died at the scene, a third died at the hospital. Among the victims was at least 1 child, and at least 1 other person sustained unrelated injuries. Described as a 32-year-old white male with a history of mental illness, including prior emergency detention holds, law enforcement confirms that he had a criminal record. After the shooting, the suspect carjacked the vehicle at the Target parking lot and fled. He crashed that car, then stole another car from a nearby Volkswagen dealership. Arrested roughly 18 to 20 miles away in South Austin after being subdued with a taser. Police successfully detained the subject without further firing of their weapons. Officials confirmed no ongoing threat, and the area remains an active crime scene. Victims identified have not yet been disclosed. The motive remains unknown as investigations continue, and there's a lot of reaction from politicians, which I won't bore you with. Broader context. Oh wow, this shooting did occur during back-to-school shopping rush. We had that. We walked through the mall on Saturday, I think it was, and holy shit, it was busy. It's good to see that because our mall's like dead lately. There was a 4th person that was shot, but they got non-gun related injuries. So somebody was hurt, but they weren't hit. Okay, so there we go. That's what we've got for the Target store. That's that Target store incident there. All right, I want to take a quick look over here seismically and see what's going on with that. Oh, there it is. Oh, we did just have one over there in Russia again. Let's take a look at this. This is our cluster that we've been watching out here on the Russian peninsula. We did just have one of 4.6 out there, right there. And we have got this. This has been one hell of a swarm, guys. Look at this. The orange is more than 2 days old. The purple color is the pink color is yesterday. The purple is today. Okay. And this big circle you see in the background, that's that big mother from the other day. 8.8. That's that one that caused that tsunami. All right, so there we go. Let's take a look and zoom out a little bit. Take a look at the Pacific Ring of Fire. And there we go. Not so bad. We've got a couple of small ones up here in Alaska. Very small. Tulsona, Alaska, and Copperville, Alaska. So a couple there. But a fairly quiet day overall. We did have this 5.8 yesterday down here. And then that's right off the coast of Tapachula there. That is 5.8 that occurred. And but that was like I said, that was yesterday. So other than that, not too active right now when it comes to the seismic monitor. But we always will keep an eye on it every night because that's what we do here. Thanks, Ding. Yeah, subscribing really helps, guys. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. All right. All right, guys, I'll do a quick reset here. I want to welcome everybody to the show. My name is Ian. This is Starship Adventures, and we are live tonight here in my personal studio in my backyard in Fort Myers, Florida. And we are live on YouTube, the world's largest broadcast platform, broadcasting worldwide right now. Thank you, everybody that's being here, and thank you to those that have participated tonight in the chat room. We do welcome everyone. Please let everyone know that we're here. We're having a little bit of a slow traction time every now and then, but we get there, and we're doing okay. Hell, the trolls are coming in. I know we're doing okay now. Let's see here. Yes, galactic winds are the number one factor in wildfires. Even more important than how dry the brush is or what time of day it is. The most important factor is the winds. How strong are they? Are they gusty? Are they steady? What do you got? And that's trust. Take it from an old retired fire chief. Um, the wind is your enemy out there. That the wind gives you a good day or a bad day, all depending on the wind. Um, yes, homeless live in the drainage system, and they got to be careful too because it can rain upstream, and it didn't even rain where they're at, and they can be washed away. Um, yep, yeah, it's been unusually hot. It's been very hot. Vegas is seeing well over 100 degrees every day. Bring back the asylums. Yeah, I get it. I can't disagree. Um, all right, we'll go back to the main grid and see what's going on out there. I am showing a few videos from earlier. I don't have anything live to show you guys right now. I will go back and check here in just a minute. Let me check for breaking news. We also have the situation. Um, we have a steel plant that blew up too. I've got to get a button bar with all my prompts. That's the next thing I'm going to do with AI. Comms prepper. I sometimes have it on my rig here. I've got it on a long wire. Sometimes, like right now, my noise floor was real high today, so I've got you coming on an SDR server out of DC, I believe, right now. It's coming out of DC. Um, I do have it come out of here where the noise floor is better. I do prefer to use my own, but I have access to others. So, um, as far as that receiver, I don't know what it's using for an antenna, but I know it's in the Washington, D.C. area. And that's the one I've been using for about a week now. So, I'm hopefully going to get my noise floor down and switch back to mine. I hear about the same on both when mine's working good. I also have another source out in Utah and some other ones that I use. Um, I try to use the ones that have the best, clearest, signal for what we're hearing. And this one here is about the best lately. All right, let's see here. So anyway, earlier today, there was an explosion that occurred at the Clairton Coke Works. That sounds interesting. A U.S. steel plant in Clairton, Pennsylvania. The initial blast happened at approximately 10:51 a.m. local time this morning in the reversing room. A reversing room. The area responsible for uniformly baking coal into coke. I'm hearing very strange noises outside. I think I'm going to go check that out. Stand by. Big orange male cat from down the street squaring off with my cats here. All right, had to scare him off. All right, so anyway, 2 people were killed in the explosion that happened about 10:51 a.m. this morning. At least 10 others were injured. Many had to be hospitalized, with some treated for non-life-threatening injuries on scene. Missing and rescued. Initially, 1 person was reported missing in the rubble. Rescue teams located that person during ongoing search operations, and they were safely transported to the hospital. Explosion details. Multiple explosions occurred. The primary blast in the reversing room, followed by a secondary explosion in adjacent areas. The fire broke out, but was declared stable by the afternoon. The incident was classified as a mass casualty situation, prompting a broad emergency response. Medical helicopters and numerous EMS teams were deployed to assist the casualties and to extricate the people that were trapped. Local residents within a 1-mile radius were advised to shelter indoors, close windows, and switch HVA systems to recirculation mode. Like people, I guess maybe out there they do. I don't know. Here they're pretty much always in that mode. Anyway, importance of this facility. The Clairton Coke Works is North America's largest coking facility. So many jokes I could tell. Essentials to the steel making process. It employs approximately 1,300 workers, underpinning its regional industrial significance. Investigation is underway. Authorities, including the Allegheny County Fire Marshal and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, have launched a formal investigation. The cause remains under that investigation. U.S. Steel emphasized employee safety is cooperating with the investigation. Yeah, okay, whatever. This plant has experienced other problems in the past. You don't say. Aerial imagery and eyewitness reports revealed extensive structural damage with thick smoke visible. All right, so there you go. That's what happened out there. And let me see if this gets me anywhere here. They show 3 or 4 pictures, but they don't really show anything. It's like, okay, well, that's kind of a waste. Thanks, AP. The Associated Depressed. Chick-fil-A launches a new sandwich. You want to bet it's a chicken sandwich? Chick-fil-A locations will start serving the new menu items on August 18th, according to the press release. The lineup includes the return of the fan favorite beverage, now with a twist. Who gives a shit? Cherry, berry, some shit with Sprite. Yep, it's a chicken sandwich. Ladies and gentlemen, they've invented yet another chicken sandwich. Following a successful test in Raleigh, North Carolina last spring, the Pretzel Cheddar Club sandwich will be launching nationwide. It looks like a pretzel sandwich. That's pretty much, if I had to figure out what it would look like, it would probably be a pretzel sandwich. But hey, being the host that I am, I'm going to show you a picture of it. There it is right there. It's like a sandwich on a pretzel. Yep, you saw it here first, folks. It's a pretzel sandwich. And, of course, I guess that's better than a knuckle sandwich. I love their chicken at Chick-fil-A. I think they have very good chicken. I hate waffle fries. I detest waffle fries. I no longer eat at Long John Silver's because they switched to waffle fries. I detest waffle fries. I hate them. I don't know why. They don't taste right. They taste like shit. And so, I don't know. Comms prepper. It probably is. Then I don't care because I'm using it. It's WebSDR. I don't know if you've ever checked out WebSDR, but just type in WebSDR Washington D.C. It'll come up, and you could listen to it directly there if mine goes down. Um, hello, hello, South Carolina. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. DD21, South Carolina. I do appreciate you coming in. We're here just about every night except some Saturdays, and we do all kinds of news stuff. We've already done basically our full news rundown tonight, and but I'll be on for a little while longer. I do appreciate you guys all coming in tonight. Nice crowd tonight, and we're going to talk about some more stuff coming up here. I do have 2 or 3 more smaller topics to talk about, and also we will go back through we'll definitely go back through the major news stories of the day. But anyway, let me go through this here real quick with you guys. What else is going on out there? Well, let's talk about 3i Atlas. I mentioned this last night, and I'm probably going to talk about this coming sometime this week on the radio show. But I mean, I did talk about it last night, but I just want to mention again. There's a great article that I posted on either one of our YouTube channels under the community, and it's about the 3i Atlas. There's actually scientists now that are saying it's doing strange things. It's showing off strange things. And now they're starting to think that maybe there's something to this interstellar traveler. And so it's a good read. It's worth checking out. It's pretty detailed what I wrote there, and it explains everything. This thing is going to make a real close pass to Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, and the trajectory it's taken through the solar system is very suspicious. And so because of that, people are really starting to look at it, like, oh my God, what is this? All right. All right, we've got a conjunction going on. It's tomorrow morning, and it's tomorrow morning's the best morning to view it. And if you're up early, right around twilight, go take a look. There's actually going to be Jupiter and Venus. Jupiter and Venus are going to be right next to each other in the sky. 2 very bright planets right next to each other in the sky. And we've got the Perseid meteor shower going on. So when you find them, give it a minute, because you might get to see a meteor too. So all that is going on. And like I said, it's the Perseid meteor shower, and also a conjunction between Venus and Jupiter tomorrow morning in the twilight. It'll be worth seeing. Set your alarm to remind you if you're going to be up. And we talked about Cracker Barrel last night, so we don't need to go back through all that again. Kind of a shame what that happened with them, but okay. And that's what they've got for space weather too. There's not a lot going on right now on space weather. The solar disk is busy, but there's just not a whole lot going on. But you can see here the disk is pretty busy. There's a couple of big sunspots that are rolling off the eastern limb, and we've got one large complex on the south coming around the western limb. So there's a lot of sunspots. We're in the very active time of this solar cycle. It's the most active time of the solar cycle, and we're going to see another year or so of this very active and angry sun out there, with all these different sunspots that keep working their way from west to east across the disk. Huh. Well, that's about there. I got the rest of the stuff in. I'm going to start wiring my car over the next few days, maybe this coming weekend. I have to wait till it's, some cooler time. But I got some bright lights to go in the front, and I'm going to be working on replacing out a few of the other lights in the front. There's like driving lights down below, and I'm going to be replacing those with like an LED light, and I'm going to put those on a switch inside so I can control it inside. And I've also got a set of off-road like type lights that are going to go down underneath there. And I got all the wiring and all that stuff. A lot of it already had. And I bought the light for the top during Prime Week. Got that for pretty inexpensive. And I got these lights very inexpensive. They used to be $50-$60 for this set of lights. I think I got them for like $26. It was absolutely amazing. LED technology is just getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to own. Yeah, that's cool. I love the thunderstorms here, but now that I have antennas up in the air and a studio that's plugged in with no battery backup, I've gotten to where I love and hate thunderstorms here. But yeah, I do love a good thunderstorm. And yeah, I don't fish. My family all fishes. Everybody I know fishes. I don't fish. I can't see the difference between fishing and standing on the bank looking like an idiot with a pole in your hand. I'm just joking. I just don't. I don't fish. I don't get it. Yep. Well, here's the thing. If yeah, CB, the limitations of CB are just astronomical. That's why you got to get into ham. You got to get into the VHF, UHF stuff, because that's your local communications. That's what's going to be best, so that you can stay in contact with people out there that are within 50 miles of your house. And then you do want to get set up with an HF rig eventually, with a long piece of wire that you can deploy quickly. You can make international contacts with it and talk to people. But even more importantly, I tell people after disasters and after stuff, you're not going to be doing a lot of talking because you don't want people to find you. So you're going to be doing mostly a lot of listening. But that ham radio is going to give you the ability to receive everything. You should have an all-band receiver with antenna equipment in your emergency kit. You should have a port. If it's a go bag, your go bag should have at least 1 or 2, 3 good Chinese radios that are fully charged with spare batteries. And you got to have that stuff in that go bag. And then if you're talking about a situation where you're going to be holed up for a while somewhere, you want a good battery and you want a receiver. Like I said, the transmit part's not as important. You're going to want to talk to your local guys, your local preppers. You're going to want GMRS, or you're going to want ham radio, VHF or UHF. But if you're going to be listening for what's going on in the world, which is going to become very important, if everything goes out, you're going to want a radio to survive this, that you can dig up and you can hook up and you can find out what's going on in the world, because somewhere people will be broadcasting. And after a situation where everything goes out, the airwaves are completely clear. The band, the spectrum, everything completely clear. And so you'll be able to hear transmissions from thousands of miles away coming across the ionosphere. And it's important that you're going to be able to receive these messages so that you and your family and your fellow preppers know what's going on. I keep telling you, everybody's always talking about talking on the radio after a disaster. And I always tell people, I'm not going to be doing any talking unless I know who I'm talking to. But I'm going to be doing a lot of receiving. I'm going to probably have somebody on that radio 24 hours a day, dialing around trying to hear what's going on, because there will be no other information you're going to get. So that's why. And a good ham radio, if you got a good shack in the box or a good ham radio, it'll pick up everything: shortwave, conventional commercial AM and FM, but it will also pick up ham radio. It'll pick up all the different bands, and it'll also pick up international marine HF and stuff like that. Plus, you've got your marine band stuff. There's a lot of stuff you want to be able to monitor after something bad, because that's the only way you're going to be able to find out information. Everybody, I love when people talk about, well, after I want to make sure I have a 1,000-watt transmitter, and I want to make. You're not going to be talking to anybody, dude. You don't want to talk to anybody unless you know who you're talking to. If you got family 3 states away and you want to set up a time and date where, look, if something happens, every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, we will attempt contact on this frequency. That's a good plan. That's something you should have set up with your family that's in the other state. Okay? But as far as transmitting into the blind, you're crazy. They're going to come take it from you. I wouldn't even talk on a radio unless I know who I'm talking to and I have an absolute reason to do it. But listening is going to be your biggest asset. That's why I said, even if you don't have a transmitter or a license or any of that, you don't need it. All you're going to need is a really good receiver. And you can do that. You can buy little receivers for $100 that'll receive everything you need to receive. Look, as long as it's legal or close to legal and you want to eat it, eat it. I have no problem with people taking and eating what they take. I'm not a hunter. I'm not a fisherman. But everybody in my family is, and I've been hunting with the best of them. I just don't do any of the hunting myself. And it's just that I just don't want to. I just don't feel like I need to do that. And what's great about it is I've never had a problem with people hunting and taking what they catch, as long as they use it. Now, if you kill something you don't use, shame on you, man. That's bad. No, comms prepper, you are absolutely correct, 100%. Buying a radio and throwing it in your bag is probably going to be useless. First thing you want to do is program that radio with as much as you can program it with. Number 2, you want to learn how to use it, learn how to program it. Number 3, you want to have printed instructions in case electronic devices aren't working. If you bury this thing, or you put it in a Faraday cage, or you put it under your house, or whatever you do with this thing to protect it, you want to have the manual with it that explains everything on how to use it. Okay? It's still good to have printed manuals with anything that you're going to use, in a prepper environment, because no electronics may work. These radios may work because you've protected them. If you got a radio like this, you should take the antenna off. Don't store it in your bag. Don't store it anywhere with the antenna on it. Store it with the antenna off, because this will gather electromagnetic energy and run the radio. Another thing you can do with these, once you've taken this off, you can take the battery off as well. And then once that's done, you store all of it in the same bag, but not connected to each other. Okay? And you have the battery and the radio and the antenna, and you put them in a bag, and then you put it in a metal box, however you're going to protect it, and then put it in the farthest away place you can, and hopefully that radio will survive an electromagnetic pulse. If the box you put it in is grounded, that's going to help. If it's buried underground, that of course is going to help more. If you have a bomb shelter, put it down there. A tornado shelter, put it down there. If you have an underground tomato shelter, put it down there. You want to put it in the lowest point possible in your home in a metal box. The metal box needs to either be on the ground or grounded using grounding rods. But yeah, that you got to do what you got to do to protect your radio, because if it's not there, you're not going to be able to get information from it and potentially use it too if you know who you're going to talk to. Um, but yeah, you definitely need to know how to use your radio, and also you want to have the manual. Both. Yes, and you can eat the instructions too if you get hungry enough. Yeah. I'll tell you what, growing a garden is not a plan. I don't mean to sound like a prick, but if you're a real prepper, you'll know what I'm talking about. I hear people all the time saying, "You know what? I'm going to grow gardens. I'm going to grow a big garden." That's good because you're going to need a lot of people to guard that garden. People are going to come take your shit. That's the way it's going to work. Food's going to be the number one most valuable commodity. The only way growing is going to work is if you're really far away from everything and you're growing it somewhere in a blind, where you can protect the entrance and nobody can see it from anywhere, and you're basically growing it somewhere in a blind. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it. It's going to be very difficult. You're better off finding ways to seed things naturally and get things naturally growing around the property and stuff like that, where people would be less likely to see it as a crop. I mean, the number one thing you're going to have to worry about after a situation like this is everybody's taking your food. And what it's going to come down to is there's going to be people who are willing to kill to eat, and there's going to be people that are willing to kill them to keep their food. And so you have to decide if this is you or not. If it's you, then you have to fill one of those two roles. You either have to be willing to shoot the people coming to get your food, or you have to go get food from other people and risk getting shot. And that's the horrible reality of it. I used to be a prepper. Now I'm prepped, but I no longer live under the fantasy that I want to live in that world. If nuclear war happens or a big solar flare from the sun, I don't even think I want to be alive anymore, really. I just, what a horrible life it's going to be, dude. You know, to know that you may have used your last flushing toilet. No more hot showers. The food will dwindle down until we've killed each other off, until there's nobody left. Yes, tribes existed for a reason. That's correct. And as preppers, we will have to tribe up. And even those tribes will end up killing each other off. And eventually the people in the tribes will kill each other off. I'm telling you what, hunger is a fucked up motivator. It really is. And it will motivate people to do some pretty messed up things. And that's why when people start talking about the whole, I'm a prepper and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, I ask them the hard questions. Like, are you really ready to shoot everybody that comes for your food? You're going to have to do it. Then you're going to have to drag them bodies off because they're going to stink. And you can't have a big pile of dead people right in front of your house. There's a lot of bad things you're going to have to think about. And that's why, like I said, I used to be a prepper. Now I'm prepped. I don't know if I'm still a prepper or not because I really don't want to be there. I don't think I want to live that existence anymore. Yeah. All right, so there's that dark discussion. Let's end that dark discussion. All right, been on 90 minutes now. 90 minutes now. Thank you, everybody that's on, for being here. This is Starship Adventures. There's not a whole lot going on tonight. The Disney World walkthrough has ended and cycled back to the beginning again, so that's okay. That looks like they are, that is, I know where they're at. That's Starship Earth. They're in Epcot. Oh, hell, I could be wrong. Who knows? Anyway, the point is they changed Disney World like I changed my underwear. Yeah, well, traveling's a problem too. You're almost better off just staying pat where you're at and living it out the best you can. Because anytime you try to move, you're going to become the focal point of everybody that needs something, which is everybody. Okay, all right, well, enough of that. Let's go back. We talked about that Gifford Fire. Man, that thing is huge. Let me see if I can get it, if there's any updates on that. 30% containment, 33% containment, 120,000 acres burned. San Luis Obispo. Okay, so yeah, that is by far the biggest fire. The next fire is the Orleans Complex fire at 22,000 acres, 81% containment. And then the Green Fire, which is in Shasta County, 19,000, and that's 99% contained. This is really the big one right now. I mean, it is big. And 33% containment, that's only a third. That means 2/3 of that fire is burning freely tonight. That ain't no fooling. All right, if anybody has anything else they'd like to mention today or like me to bring up, that would be cool. The Gifford Fire is now listed as a megafire, currently the largest fire to burn during 2025. And like I said, it has made megafire status. I don't know exactly what it takes to get that moniker, but it's got it. The fire is ranging across rugged wilderness in both San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara counties, primarily within the Los Padres National Forest near Highway 166. It's tough terrain and tough conditions for firefighters, and it's being fueled by extreme heat, low humidity, and extremely dry fuels. The fire spreads rapidly across remote, steep terrain, making containment difficult. At least 4 firefighters and 3 civilians have been injured in managing the blaze. Over 800 structures are currently at risk. Evacuation orders and warnings are in effect across multiple emergency zones. Critical roadways include Highway 166 and forest trails have been closed to protect the public. Over 3,000 firefighters and nearly 250 support personnel are engaged, supported by air and ground resources, including water tenders, bulldozers, hand crews, and helicopters. A new command base has been established near Santa Margarita and to improve logistical coordination and response times. Smoke is affecting visibility and air quality in communities including Santa Maria, Lampoic, and also Santa Ynez, with potential impact spreading further depending on wind and inversion layers. Fire crews have successfully tied into the earlier Madre fire burn scar to limit expansion in certain areas. See, that's what they'll do. If they've got an area over here that burned 3 months ago, that area may or may not even be able to support free burning again that soon, because there's no debris. Everything's been burned out. So if you got a fire burning into an area that's already burned, that's good news. You can use that as a natural fire break, and that might be why we've got 33% containment, because it's burned into this other fire area. What is this? Let's see here. Always weird about California. They'll be like the whole world will be burning down, and there's criminals running around everywhere, and everything is absolutely crazy and nuts, and they'll be totally worried about something that's not a big deal. But it's Oscar night. Uh, uh. All right, guys. Let's see here. What else do we got? Aaron, yes, we talked about Aaron earlier. I'd be glad to talk about Aaron again. Um, Aaron, currently Tropical Storm Aaron, is Tropical Storm Aaron is currently located out in the open Atlantic, and as of the 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time advisory number 3 from the National Hurricane Center. It has a sustained wind of 45 miles an hour, and the movement was west at 22 miles an hour. And the new thing to note here on this map is this right here. They're now forecasting this to be a major hurricane. This is now forecast to be a major hurricane. The models want to take this like this and then sweep it out before it gets to the United States. If that happens, that would probably be the best case scenario. And what will cause that, give me just a second to get this telestrator straight here. What will cause that is we've got high pressure sitting up here like this. All right, and I don't know why this thing keeps changing my dot size. We've got this high pressure sitting up here. And as this high pressure moves off this way, which it's kind of doing right now, that allows things to spin around the high pressure like that. What will happen is this high pressure will build in here. This is called the Bermuda High. And as this builds in and moves down this way, it begins to push the storms off in this direction and not allow them to turn north. And that's where it gets to be really dangerous, because we start to get these storms coming across. If this high builds in just a little bit more, this will not be able to make the turn, and it will end up going further west. Or it could happen more down here. So we have to watch this one. I think we're okay on this one. I think we're going to see some swells. We're going to see some high surf and stuff like that along the eastern seaboard from South Carolina north. But I also don't see this one as being that major of a situation for us. Now, we did, and I will go and show you guys real quick, there was a couple of models here. The CMC model tends to want to bring this thing lower and brings it right in on top of the islands, and then wants to bring it right up this way. That's a dangerous situation. That may not make the turnout in time. So that's why we're still saying most of the other models are showing this thing making the turnout in plenty of time, but there's a couple that aren't. Let's go to the GFS, which currently the American model, currently the #1 performing model. And if we run this out, you will see that it does pass off north of the islands and north of Nassau, quite a bit north of Nassau actually, and then off, and it's gone. But I want you to notice at its closest pass here, 940 millibars. 940 millibars is easy a Cat 3 major hurricane. So that's why they're forecasting a potential Cat 3 major hurricane. And let's see, Euro. If we run the Euro out, what we end up with is kind of the same thing as the GFS. This one doesn't go out quite as far. Yeah, that's as far as that one goes, but it still shows you we're pretty much on the plan here where it's going to go. And I do always suggest Mike's weather page. I give everybody the link to that every time. Some forecasters compared Aaron to Andrew. Okay. Wow. Okay. I have not heard anything about that. Yes. I would be interested, comms prepper. I will eventually look for a sponsor that will want to put a battery backup generator system in here or something. I gotta get my numbers up over 100,000 though. Once I do that, I'll be able to get the help I need to bring this entire thing up to the next level. Anyway, so that's what we got there. This is Mike's weather page. It is definitely the go-to resource. This is what we've got going on out there right now, and none of these mean anything. This one's going to move off, and this is probably going to move off. You still got your high pressure sitting. Actually, your high pressure sitting more up here, and this one right here over in the Gulf of America, this one's moving north, so it's going to go immediately over land. That's why they're not worried about that one at all. So basically what we're down to is Aaron, and Aaron forecasts to come in like this and then take that alley-oop and take it right on out like that. And it's expected in this area to be a major hurricane in that zone right there. So definitely something to keep watching. There is, I do want to show you guys what the model runs look like over. Oh god damn this thing! Not used to this telestrator yet, and it's driving me nuts. Let's go over to Tropical Tidbits and take a look at some of these model runs. And I want you to notice there is still outliers here that take this into the United States. The stronger ones are up here. These purple ones, this is all the strong ones up here, and those are all going away. But that being said, we still have these outliers down here. Now, normally outliers are not where it goes, but we've got 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 or 12 outliers here. There's quite a few. So that's disconcerting a bit, because by the time we get to here, let's say we get to here, we're at 120. That means we're 4 days out from right now. 1, 2, 3, 4 days out. Actually, 5 days out. I'm sorry, 5 days out. I don't count so well. 5 days out. So right here is the 5-day forecast. Notice at 5 days, you've got that much uncertainty. At 6 days, you've got this much uncertainty. And at 7 days, you have that much uncertainty. So, I mean, you can see where it gets really wacky out on those last 3 days. And a number of those models on those last 3 days, all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least 9 models want to take that back over to the U.S. Just something to watch, nothing to be panicked over. There's a really, really good chance that this one's going to be harmless. This will probably be a fish storm. I expect this to be a fish storm, and end of story. But you got to watch these, because remember, Charlie wasn't going to hit us until it did. Irma wasn't going to hit us until it did. Ian wasn't going to hit us till it did. So I don't know. I watch them all now nervously. Got 50 tabs open here. Holy crap. Oh, Lunapic's working again. That's awesome. They've been going up and down constantly lately. All right, let me do a quick news check here and see if there's any breaking news. If you guys know of anything going on, let me know. Mentioning Andrew. I don't know why that is. I don't know of anything to compare it to yet, but I'm interested. I'm going to go look that up. I've got it in my show notes to go back and check out after the show, because I'm interested. Andrew was probably the strongest storm in our lifetime. I responded to Andrew I arrived there the morning after in Florida City. I heard the eerie calm and smelled the strange smells. And that was like nothing I've ever seen before. All right. Such terrible stories. All right. And the shit they call news. First of all, I don't consider sports news. I don't like that. It's not news. It's sports. And I hate all these clickbaits now. And you're reading a regular news site, and all of a sudden there's like a story there, and it looks like a legitimate story, but it says Kmart has curtains 20% off. It's like it literally is written like a news story and everything. Oh, I bet there was. I bet there was. I'm having a hard time, guys. I'm having a hard time finding ways to be notified when something big's going on. And I've tried several different things already. And I also set up this big alerting thing that I worked on for 2 days. And I set it all up. And you know what I'm finding out? Everybody and their mother it puts out way too many alerts. Like, I took Fox News and CNN. I went to both of these, right? I figured, all right, this is either side of the spectrum. I'll go into there, each of them, and I will subscribe to their breaking news alerts, okay? Oh my God. I selected breaking news only, okay? And that's it. The highest news alert only. And I turned off all the other things. All I want is breaking incidents of magnitude, breaking news. That's it. And that thing was going off every 20 minutes. Bling, 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 bling. The president's meeting with the prime minister of Israel. Bling, the president's meeting with this guy. Bling, they're doing a press conference at the White House. Bling, there's a riot going on outside. Bling, I'm like, this is crazy. It's nuts. There is no app out there or website that will only notify you of incidents of magnitude. They can't do it. Every one of them goes off constantly. I tried about 10 different sites. I even tried a couple of newspaper sites. The Washington Times and the Washington Post. Again, either side of the street. And they just constantly were going off. And I need something that's going to go off like a bell. Like my phone will go bling, 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 and let me know that something big is going on. But I've yet to figure out how to do that. Because every notification service I've tried just is constantly going off. There is no such thing as a notification service that only goes off when something big happens. Like a big plane crash or an attempted assassination or something like that. I mean, it needs to be big. Starship alerts, I love it. The problem is I would need a staff to administrate it. Maybe that's something that if enough of us got together, we could all do. I don't know. I mean, I'm not opposed to doing stuff like that. I love stuff like that. Are you talking about the semi they were chasing the wrong way? I saw the video on that, and they got away. That's probably the first time somebody ran from the cops in a tractor trailer and actually got away. Oh, jeez. But see, even if we did our own breaking news app, we would still have to come up with a way to do the breaking news and to figure it out and to vet it out and make sure that we're sending out the right alerts and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to something like that. Yeah. All right, guys, I need a 5 minute break. I am going to take a 5 minute break, so give me just a second here, and I will be right back. I wish I had. Let's see, let me look over here at something. Okay, guys, I need about a 5 or 6 minute break, and I'll be back, okay? In the meantime, I am going to leave all the screens up, and I am going to play the Indianapolis Metro Police, which is the #1 scanner right now with over 12,000 people listening.
Eastern Route to disturbance 4421 East Washington for 10 subjects outside the gas station yelling and fighting.
Control, pick up firm female, please.
Delta 62, David 354, David 327, Surface suspicious vehicle 6740 Trunkway.
I ran her and she's on the run. She's returning negative.
Thank you. 354. I'll get the other 6 cars in a second.
Welcome. It's Ann Glover Reeves.
Correct.
354, Cycle 29 at 2252 is an old sedan filed a complaint home. They're still sitting outside the apartment. I don't know how many occupants. From that, voicemail callback times 3 now.
Charles 32665 Keystone.
347 Southport and Emerson.
2252. A reference neighbor, I guess, is a disturbance between a mother and daughter over keys, and they live across the street from each other.
Is there a 40s car for an illegally parked vehicle, 722 North Gladstone Avenue, V41?
Okay.
329. 2254.
Do you have a child abuse detective contact me?
There's a with child abuse detective for CX.
Control 804.
Go ahead.
You able to get a return?
No, not yet, sir.
Okay. 345 30. Goes 10-8. 12 gets left. Clear, thanks.
Home Cross 16.
Go ahead.
They will not extradite.
Clear, thank you.
Or if I got shell casings inside of a fenced-off retention pond just north of Bill Drive.
Clear.
Negative 4.
Go ahead. 362, 313.
85 Lawrence.
Go ahead.
She's confirmed a negative off an ID card.
Thank you.
85.
How did you want that previous traffic stop closed out off of Pendleton Pike?
Warning issued.
313, he's hitting in for you.
Clear.
I'll found patrol. Thank you.
At the beginning of the call, he said they almost have knives to each other's throats and were going to kill each other. There's a female in the background telling him to get off the phone.
You have our mail on scene. Clear. Can you call him back and tell him to come outside, the door secure?
Clear.
Attention Northwest District 32, frame 337, frame 34, frame 337, frame 344 for an assist EMS at 4131 North Vineland Avenue. The female subject, I believe they are dying and they feel like something's going to happen to their left lung. They stop responding to dispatch. EMS is en route, 4125 North, 5900 West.
220. 344.
Frame 220 and 344 at 2258, frame 337 disregard.
348 in disregard.
Clear, thank you.
337 and 1814, an alarm at 4515 Lafayette Road and 33.
Okay, guys, I'm back. And here we go. Well, you know, I agree with you that a lot of things happen later at night, but a lot of things happen earlier as well. Because if I go on at 9 and I go off at 11, which is about now, it's now 11 o'clock right now, that's the busiest, one of the busiest times for the East Coast. It's still early for the West Coast. I get that. But if you think about it, the storm chasers, once the sun goes down, they're not near as fun to watch. So I like to go on at 9 because then out west where the storm chasers are, it's only 7 and we've still got some daylight left. This is just the prime time. 9 to 11 it works out. I can't go any earlier than that because I work and I don't get home from work till about 8. And I eat real quick and I put my little screens up and I come on, you know. And I also can tell you I can't stay up all night all the time like that. I can do it every day. I will do it every now and then if something warrants it. If you remember the night that we had the tsunami, I stayed up till 4 a.m. with you guys. Okay, so I'm looking right now for any other live video going on out there that I can grab. And it's just all these spoofers. I don't think there's anything going on. I have some views of the I have some views of the earlier protest in DC, a different video. I'll put that up. This was from earlier. You know, what gets me about this whole thing in Texas, they're so upset that people are doing this gerrymandering. Do you guys know where gerrymandering comes from? There was a guy years ago, this Democrat in this state, that his name was Jerry. And the only way he could get more people in power was to meander the lines all around the state. So it became something known as gerrymandering, because Jerry used to meander the lines all over the state. They would meander all around the state. That's where that term comes from. Most people don't even know that. That's where the term comes from. And the Democrats have been doing it for years, and the Republicans have been doing it. And now they're freaking out because they're doing it. And I'm like, well, you know, you did it 4 years ago in this other state. They freaked out. Now they're doing it in this state. You're freaking out. So they've been doing it for years. This is nothing new. They named it after some dude that did it. So, I don't know. Good night, guys. Let's see who's going. Good night, Ding Ding. Thanks for coming in. Let's see here. I am signing off myself in just a few minutes. I'm not staying on late tonight. There's not a lot going on, and I'm having a hard time even finding any live feeds going out right now. So I'm going to go ahead and call it here in just a few minutes and get some rest. Tomorrow I'm going to be wiring my car. I want to show you guys something I got for my car that I've been wanting these for. I've been looking at these for 3 years, okay? And they were $100 when they first came out. And then they were $60, and then they were $50, and then they were $40, and I bought this for 26 bucks. These are lights to go in the front of my car. And these things are badass. The two strips in the middle are yellow, they're amber, and they're fog lights. They put out a fine beam, a fog beam, and they're yellow. The white ones on the top and the bottom, those are white floodlights, and they put out like a flood. And you can run one or the other or both. And it's got all these different modes. One of the modes flashes the amber back and forth like a warning light. So these are warning lights, fog lights, and off-road driving lights, and also are lights for when I'm shooting out my window so that you guys will be able to see what's going on. I'm going to have an extra set of lights in the front of the car, and I'll have these on a switch so that I can activate additional lighting in the front. I'll have my low beams, my high beams. I also have a set of driving lights on there that I'm going to switch to LED, and I'm putting them on a switch also. So I'm going to have 4 sets of lights on the front of this thing. So you'll be able to see whatever it is I'm driving up to. I got 2 of these. Like I said, they finally became very inexpensive, and I love it. I think they're awesome. So anyway, you can see what they are. They had 3 little wires there, and there's a positive, a negative, and a control wire. Yep. So anyway, I got those. That's going to be going on there. And the fuses in this car, I found some fuses blown out. These fuses are so small. Look how small. I don't know if you can even see how small these damn fuses are. They're like they're literally they call them like micro mini fuses or some shit. And I can't get over how small these damn fuses are. The 2 pieces that stick out normally are up inside the fuse. It's just a little square. weren't fuses freaking small enough? Weren't they small enough? It's not like, oh my God, those fuses were this big and we didn't have enough room under the dashboard. Give me a break. Whatever. So anyway, I'm going to be installing all this shit over the next week. I got all kinds of stuff to install in there. Including radio equipment. I've already got the one antenna on it. I'm going to put a second antenna on it. And it's going to be all set up to go here in a couple weeks. I'll be able to just jump in that thing and take off. And when there's something going on, I'm going to go. If it's a big brush fire, I'm going to go. There's not enough people live streaming. There's not enough people putting up streams on Broadcastify. There's not enough people going out in the car and doing their own streams. And so I'm going to start doing that in conjunction with what I'm doing here. Yeah, I'm going to do it. It should be good. I think you guys will enjoy that, because I'll be able to take you with me and we'll be able to go on adventures together. And eventually we'll drive all over the mountains and do radio and POTA and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it, being able to take you guys with me. I actually bought an S10 phone. I bought an S20 phone for my phone. I bought this S10 phone for my phone, and then when it came in, it was the wrong one. And then instead of sending it back, I used it for my camera because I liked using it as my camera. So I kept the phone. It was $95. I kept it. Now I use this as my camera because I like using a phone as my camera because I can see myself. I like seeing myself in the camera. It's like a return. So I know what I look like and I know where my lights and everything are. And so I think that's important. And so I kept that. Well, now that phone gives me more ability to not only record, but also broadcast live in the car. There's going to be a lot that I'm going to be able to do. All right. I'm going to do a last call in the chat room, guys. I've been on over 2 hours, and that's all I promise here. I'm dying tonight. I'm quiet. I'm hurting. I'm going to go lay down with my cats and go to bed. I got 3 gray cats in there. They can't sleep without me. You know, I'm going to bring Littles out. I want to show you guys my cat Littles. He's an amazing little cat. He was found behind a dumpster. His mama was dead. And he was a rescue with 3 others. And we raised them we fed them bottles. They barely had their eyes open. And we ended up adopting the other 3 out to great homes. And we still have contact with them. We see the pictures of them all the time. And we kept the runt, the little one. And he is just the most beautiful little cat. I'm going to bring him out and show him to you some other time. Maybe tomorrow. I'll bring Ed Earl back out or something. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it. It's been fun. Thanks for being here, everybody. We do this every night except some Saturdays I take off. But we're here every night. And also, if you're into our continuous stream coverage of stuff, we will be returning to that shortly. We had a glitch in the program, and rather than going back and reinstalling the older one that wasn't working right, the newer one is broken. So now I'm just going to wait a day or so, and I'll have a new program here, and we'll load it up, and it'll work great. And we're going to get back to that special scanner feed that we're going to try to provide. That is going to happen. I'm telling you guys, we're there. All right, so that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope that you found it informative tonight. And again, I will be doing this every night for you guys. Let's see here. What do we got? All right, so there you go. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it live from Starship Adventures, Starship Studios in Southwest Florida. My name's Ian, and this is Starship Adventures, and I hope to see you guys next time down the log or on the next adventure or just tomorrow night right here at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having our regular show tomorrow night, and hell, maybe there'll be some big thing going on. Who knows? Everybody have a good night out there. 7-3s. Have a great night and a safe tomorrow, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night. Everybody, 7-3s.